Hi, my name's Angela Eichel. I am the pharmacy manager at Delphus Discount Drugs here in Delphus. I have worked here for 13 years. I went to high school at Delphus Jefferson, graduated in '98 from there, took lots of accelerated math and science courses, which really helped me out. When I got to college level, pharmacy has lots of math, lots of science. You have to do organic chemistry, so lots of in-depth stuff there. I did work at Stall Camp Drugs through high school. Didn't know I wanted to be a pharmacist. I actually thought I wanted to be an accountant, so I was really doing math. One of the pharmacists up there kind of pulled me back in the pharmacy as a 16-year-old and said, hey, come try this. And I really, really liked it, so that's what got me started in pharmacy. Started my pharmacy career at Toledo, decided that the big campus wasn't for me, so I transferred to High Northern my second year, really liked that. I actually commuted from home, didn't live on campus, so that was a little bit of cost savings there. Took me 5 years to become a pharmacist. Now you have to go 6. Everyone that graduates pharmacy now has their doctorate of pharmacy, which is new over the last maybe 10 years. There are 4 or 5 colleges of pharmacy in Ohio. Most of them are 6. Ohio State, I know you have to get your undergraduate degree first, so that ends up being 8 years, which is kind of a long time for me, so that's why I picked a High Northern. Findlay does have a 6-year program as well. You're accepted into both those schools into the pharmacy program, so you don't have to apply later on down the road. You're already in, ready to go. In the pharmacy field, you can be obviously the pharmacist. We also have lots of good pharmacy technicians as well. If it's something that you don't want to be the one in charge, but you still want a part of pharmacy, you can get a pharmacy technician degree. I believe Rhodes and offer those programs. Maybe only a year program that you go in and you learn how to read a prescription, how to input prescriptions into the computer, different kinds of drugs, top 100 drugs. So you do learn, some about the pharmacy, just not exactly how the drugs would work when you would be the pharmacist. We have 4 technicians at our pharmacy, and they do everything. They count the pills, they put prescriptions in. I just have to be the final check drug interactions, that sort of thing. To be a pharmacist, you have to go to school for 6 years, and technician only 1. So that would be the big difference there. Still very good to know math, even if you just want to be a technician. Sometimes you'll get prescriptions that'll say take 1 tablet 3 times a day for a week. And obviously that's simple math, but they don't always tell you exactly the numbers. Sometimes you have to calculate up suspensions as well for little kids, so the math can get a little bit more involved. I highly recommend taking as many accelerated math courses, science courses that you can. Highest that I could take when I was in school was calculus, and that helped me significantly for my pharmacy schooling. One piece of advice I would give is no matter where you are, you're always going to have technology, computers, printers, all that kind of thing. I find myself being a jack of all trades some days, trying to get things to work and coordinate together. So I do advise my interns, if they have free time in their schedule that it allows, to take maybe a computer class or computer programming class, something that they have kind of a background. If something does go wrong in your software or computer system, you have some background to be able to delve in there and try to figure out without having to wait on IT. While you're in high school, it's a good idea if you are interested in the path of pharmacy, to come and shadow either here locally, independent, chain, and I highly recommend hospital as well. They're very, very different aspects of pharmacy. When you have your degree, they're going to be in, you can do whatever you like with that degree. They're not specific, but the career path that you choose is going to be very different. While you're in pharmacy school, you will be required to be an intern at some point. You go through your white coat ceremony, and then you are actually officially a licensed intern. You have to have so many hours as an intern. So with many colleges of pharmacy as there are in Ohio, it's good to secure a place to be able to do those hours and get all of your time in. We have 3 interns currently here. They all kind of rotate around. They help during the week. Since they are at Northern, they can drive up here during the week, get some hours in, and do some hours on the weekends. After you graduate, and get your degree, you do have to take 2 state board tests. There is a pharmacy test, and then there is also a law test. So depending on where you are licensed, you'll have to take that state. So I can practice here in Ohio and in Indiana. I have licenses in both states, but I couldn't go down to Florida and practice unless I took their law. There are different laws in each state. So there'll be 2 pretty big tests that you would have to take at the end in order to actually practice as a pharmacist. A typical day in the independent retail world here is we come in every morning, get scripts started filling. The techs will input, get everything ready, start filling for the day, and we just wait on customers as they come in. We get electronic prescriptions. Prescriptions are able to come over the computer, kind of like an email. That is new within the last 2 to 3 years. Makes it a lot easier for the doctors to just get your script right here. We can work on it without you having to bring the paper prescription in and wait on it. We get faxes. We get, obviously, still some of the paper scripts. When I first started in pharmacy, it was lots of phone calls on the doctors. The nurses would call scripts in. I was on the phone all day long jotting down prescriptions, and I know at one point my boss here had said, how many more can you take before we have to get another person in here, because it was just, very demanding as far as handwriting things out. When I worked at stall camps, we actually typed prescriptions out as opposed to having a computer system that just shot the label out at you. You had to get on a typewriter and actually type. So technology has come a long way in pharmacy to, the computer prints out your labels that you put on the bottles. Instead of having doctors call in every day, now we have ones that just pop up on your computer, which you can get irritating at sometimes because you have a whole back screen full of prescriptions, but it really is a time saver in the end because everything is right there in front of you. It does help with decreased errors. Trying to read and decipher doctors' handwriting. When they're electronically done, it's, all spelled out right there for you. So technology has come a long way. We do not have a robot, but some bigger pharmacies do have robots that will count out pills. We call them fast movers, things that you use a lot of in your day-to-day routine. They will have those in the robot, and you just pop in a number and it dispenses them for you. What I enjoy most about my job is getting to interact with people. That is when I had said, make sure you know which pharmacy route you want to go. In the hospital, sometimes, depending on what you do, you don't get as much patient interaction. So if you're not a people person, pharmacy can still be for you. You can do the hospital route and, still provide care, but not have to be out in the public. I enjoy interacting with my patients. Know 90% of them on a first name basis when they come in. A lot of that has to do with being in a small town and growing up here as well too. But that's my most favorite part of being a pharmacist, is being able to help people, get them well. When they come back in and say, hey, that over the counter you recommended really helped, that does make you feel good. Challenges is insurance. I guess I would have to pick. Insurance has just overtaken the industry in the last several years, and we have lots of issues with drugs being covered for patients. The doctor writes something, insurance doesn't want to pay for it, and that's hard to tell somebody, I can't give you this medication because your insurance doesn't want to pay, and creates a lot of extra work for doctors and us here as well. So that's probably the most challenging, is just dealing with getting things covered, getting things paid for, and getting the patient what they need.